Welcome to the Puppet Podcast. So here we are for another episode. And I'm really glad because I get to connect with the west of Canada, with someone from Calgary. And I really want to promote, like she's on a big project, an online one. So I really want to have her on the show because it's a good timing right now to talk about that. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wendy. Hey.
Hi, Caro.
I like to make an entrance.
There we go. Yeah, just put up the stage lights.
Yes. Thank you to accept this opportunity to share our passion.
Of course. Yeah. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
Hello from Calgary.
Yes. So you are I can say multidisciplinary artist. You've done writing, performance, painting. Could you tell us like your path into puppetry, like maybe to introduce more about you and your job in puppetry?
Right. Well, the story goes, once upon a time, there were two little girls who used to crawl up into the attic and they would make puppets, and they were Wendy and Pam, and then they made a puppet theater company called WP Puppet Theater. And then we did a show for my little brother's birthday, which he remembers to this day. It involved crouching behind the couch and doing puppets and making a cake with flour and water and a huge mess probably. And at any rate, skip forward from there. And then I had the good fortune of mentoring with a company here in Calgary when I arrived here, Punkerpine Puppets. They don't exist anymore, but I learned a lot from Jeannie, and also learned that it could be a job, like it could be an occupation or it could be a career, because after I worked with Pam, then I worked with Peter, my brother, and we just did it for fun. We just did it for some pocket money and had lots of fun creating stuff, puppet shows. But Jeannie taught me that it could be a job. And so we proceeded from there. And then in 1991, I decided that I would incorporate as a not-for-profit charity. And so that then put us into a whole nother sort of ballpark there.
Yeah.
And now fast forward 30 years, like it just seems like yesterday. But yeah, so we've been around a while.
Yeah, but it's kind of really interesting to have like a journey and see the beginning. But my first question is always, why, like what makes the art of puppetry an art that you cherish?
Yeah, well, I started so young, and I do like telling that story because it kind of shows kids that my audience tell them that something that they're really interested in when they're little could actually, if they work like very, 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 very hard, could become their job. So, I like to share that beginning story, but I think what happened was it just became such a way of life, that it just sort of organically proceeded. And then you do a puppet show, and then someone else hears about it, and then they ask for another one, and then you get another idea, and then I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember making a conscious choice to do this for my living. So I think it just progressed from there. What I have since learned that I love about puppetry is the fact that it's such a mesh of a whole bunch of different art forms. It's like an umbrella for everything. And so you get to be, as you said, a writer, an artist, a performer. Unless you specialize, but it's such a blend of a whole bunch of different art forms put together. So that's one really big thing. And then the other really big thing is that it's working in a metaphorical language, that it's a symbol, and that it's really looking at the way, the motivations and the reasons why people and animals and nature and the world works. How that works. And so it becomes a way of filtering that learning, and I love learning. So
yeah, that's great you bring that, because it's always a good medium, I said, for school and just to learn and put some concrete stuff on some emotion that kids try to understand. So you didn't get a crush, like a crush moment for puppetry. You said you didn't get the awareness of deciding, but maybe you get the moment where the spell of puppetry arrived to you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it just. I mean, at one point, Pam and I, we pledged that I was moved. My father was transferred, and so Pam and I pledged that puppetry would be sacred to our friendship. And we divided up our puppets, and we burnt our stage on a big bonfire. And you know, that was going to be it. Like I was retiring at 12 years old, and then. Then we moved, and my father volunteered me to do a puppet show. And I remember that I said, you know, I can't. You've just moved me away from my best friend. I have no partner. And then he said, sort of, here's your brother Peter. Work with him. So yeah. I mean, it just sort of evolved. I don't know. That's about all I can say. I mean, overall the years, I've seen some amazing puppetry that's made me feel really proud to be a puppeteer. And to feel that, I mean, this is my art form, and these other people are doing amazing shows that have really moved the audience and moved me. And I guess maybe that was sort of just a continual reinforcement that I was in the right career path. And maybe I'm lazy. I never really sort of gave a thought of anything else to do. It was kind of a big decision to become incorporated. That was a lot of paperwork. So that was kind of a big step. But besides that, it just evolved. Yeah, I'd have to say.
Yeah, that's interesting, really much. I like the story like that. You're a really good storyteller. and like because you must work also with kids, when kids ask you like, what's a puppet? Do you have like your own definition?
Right. Yes. That I ask them actually, and I'm always interested in their answers, and we sort of edge towards the definition, and then I usually say, well, you know, this is my job to know this. So so I have a pretty broad definition. I say it's the animation of an inanimate object in front of an audience, and that's it. So for me, I would say that anything that's inanimate can be a puppet. I'd say robots are puppets because they still have they have programmer. You're not moving a string or a stick or something, but you're programming an inanimate object, and so the programmer is the puppeteer. I would even say that a statue that has sort of a latent tendency to move, like something that looks like it's on the brink of moving, or you move it in your imagination. I think that could even be a puppet too. So I have a fairly broad, like everything can be a puppet.
I like it.
Yeah, and I think I think it also works because everything is animated at an atomic level. Like those little atoms are bouncing around, and so it is animating there. It's a bit of a mind twisting, bending thing. Usually what I say to kids is, you have to put the audience into that equation though, because you've done your own little private puppet shows, probably, like when your computer's crashed and you blame it, or you go out and kick your tires because your car's broken down, and you are animating, and it's a human tendency to animate something, to make sense of it, right? But it's also a theater form, so you do need to have an audience. Otherwise, it's just a private puppet show. So.
Yeah, I like this definition, and it's make people react. Like we have Nicola who say hi, and Natalia who comment what you said, and she agrees. So that's great. Thank you guys to be there. Aline is there. So if you have any question also for Wendy, be free to put it down and just said, we are there with you. We want to invite everyone, actually. Could you maybe talk a bit about your online event that is coming?
Yes. That's around the corner, actually, 10 days or something. It's May 30th and 31st, and it's the Puppet Power 2020 conference. We pick a different theme every year for this conference. It's every other year, and this year it's Puppets Go Existential.
Yes,
And
we were in this subject. You were
yes.
describing this atomic thing, so it's great.
Yeah, and it's a particularly apt theme at this very moment as we sort of look at what the challenges are. So what we did was we picked 4 existential considerations of our time. One of them was climate action. One of them was artificial intelligence. One was culture and identity, and the 4th one was hope and human agency. And so we picked those 4, like there's many existential considerations of our time. Yeah. We just picked 4 though, and then what we did was we asked our speakers when they proposed to link what they were going to say into those themes. So we have people who are touching on each of those different existential considerations. So this idea of doing a social issue of our time is related back to WP Puppet Theater's general vision, which is to use the power of puppetry to impact positive social change. And the conference supports that. So in the past, we've done puppets for multiculturalism and diversity, and puppets as agents of social change. So we've had these different themes each time. This year, going online and with existentialism, it's like completely of the time.
Yeah, and we have Natalia who asked if it's public, if it's a public event.
Absolutely. I mean, it was going to be live, and it was going to be in Calgary, and anyone could join us. And then we were going to dabble a little bit in doing some online, one program in online. But one session, but then suddenly, of course, now we're international. So definitely anyone can join. And because we are, testing it a little bit, and we don't exactly know how everything will work, we haven't had the same practice as you in doing online stuff. The prices are really, really affordable. So it's like $4.99 to attend one of the sessions. And then we also have conference passes, and we have, if you can't attend live May 30th and 31st, then we have post-conference recordings that you can buy, and then you can look at it for a month, have the license to look at it for a month. So we've tried to do lots of different ways so that hopefully nobody is not going to be able to have some part of it. And there's actually 3 sessions that are free as well. And in my mind, they're pretty interesting. They're pretty interesting sessions. One of them is on existentialism and AI. So everything uncanny, AI puppets, robots, etc. So there's a panel talking about that. And then the other panel is looking at producing art with challenging themes, which, coming out of this, lots of us are going to be responding to this challenge. And so how do we do it? How do we do it appropriately? How do we do it responsibly so that we don't have, trigger some people in some therapeutic issues sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we have a great panel that's discussing that as well. Yeah.
So you knock it, because we have Adam who says sounds cool, and Natalia who's in England and say that she wants to be part of this. So thank you for this information. So I think the word of mouth is going. So that's amazing.
Well, that's good, because we're just a little company, and suddenly we can put out our ideas to the whole world and have them join us. But I think it's going to be great. I mean, we've got Kenneth Gross is an author of Puppet, the Uncanny. Oh dear, the Uncanny Story, the Uncanny Idea. The title of his book has escaped me, but he's going to do a reading and do a conversation. There's some, watch out people, there's some workshops with a few people allowed, and then there's some where there's like 250 people can join us. It's just limited by the online platform, but don't miss, because it's coming up really soon.
Yeah. So we will put the link, because Nicola asked also. So we will put the link below the podcast for sure. But you can also look at the page, the Facebook page of your company, WP puppeteer.
WP Puppet Theater, and watch out, it's English spelling for theater.
Yeah. That's good.
Theatre. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, do you think our puppetry art is in an ascension right now, or is getting into? We are quite in a time, but what do you feel about the wave of puppetry?
I feel like I'm not plugged in to really answer that. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of things out there, but I think it also depends on how you define puppetry. And so, I mean, if you define the only true puppet show being something with strings, as a marionette, then perhaps maybe that isn't as popular. But if you define puppetry the way I do, with it being so open and such a mashup of a whole bunch of different things, then I think it's as every art form, it's growing. So I can't really answer that question.
Yeah,
I don't really know how to measure it.
Yeah, that's art. That's art. But we feel we have this live conference who's coming, like this happening online also. So it's kind of a tough question. I always keep it for the end. But do you have a big purpose as a puppeteer, like someone you want to achieve like next in your career, or do you have something in mind?
Well, I mean, as we said, our vision as a WP Puppet Theater Society is to impact positive social change through the power of puppetry. But again, how do you measure success?
Yeah, that's the point.
But I think what we so then you have to go back to measuring case by case, and I do a lot of educational work. So I get to be with my audiences and see them respond, and so I can see that selective mute student who suddenly decides that they can talk through a puppet, or I see that little boy that's jumping up and down and going, so excited about doing his puppet, or somebody who's struggled through and then they finally get the success of it. So every time I'm teaching, there's some kind of small miracles happening that are showing the success of this art form. Personally, though, what I would say is I would love to be able to be performing my show in front of an engaged audience, and it would be really cool if it was international.
Yay!
I'm traveling, so I have great travel tour stories of doing shows already internationally, and I would just love to do some more. So, but step one is to get the show finished, and it's just those little puppets are sitting around, not getting enough of a workout because I've been working on the conference. So
yeah. Maybe do you have one close or a piece of one, or sometimes I ask if you have. Yeah, you have
well,
one?
I don't have it. I don't know. They're not. The show is called Baxter and Bird, and it's a puppet show about friendship. And it's about a mouse with a dream and a bird with a problem, and then how they help each other. And if people look on our Facebook, there is a little bit of video that shows the mouse and the bird flying the helicopter, which is just one aspect of the show. So yeah, so stay tuned. And that's my passion, is to actually, I mean, I like administrating and I love how things work out and I like teaching, but push comes to shove, I'm an artist and I like it best when I've got, paint at my elbows and getting ready to do a performance, because I love the performing as well. So
yeah, amazing. That was so interesting to have you at the show. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's like way more. It's like an iceberg. We touched the tip of the iceberg, but
we can
talk more sometime.
Yeah, for sure. And so people could find you on Facebook and also on your website, and just stay tuned.
On Instagram, on Twitter.
On everything. We're
everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you very much to be part of this, and we will, as I said, we will put the link down, and we could all be all together in your online platform to see the conference and talk about existential stuff in this moment. strange.
In this strange moment, yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, audience, for joining as well, and your questions and comments. It's been fantastic, and I do hope to see you again.
Yes, in person at some point, eh? Let's say.
In person, online, yeah. Either, yeah. Whatever works, you know?
Yes, thank you very much. So thank you, Aline, Natalia, Adam, everyone who were around, and stay tuned because we have 2 other podcasts this week and we keep going and recording. And we have to promote our art. So thank you very much. Thank you, Wendy, again. And
thank you.
Yay, thank you very much. And see you